Hey, what's up everyone? This is Josh. I want to review Batman The Long Halloween. This is part one of a two-parter, and I have to admit, I've seen so many other people reviewing it. It's kind of an odd thing in that this is a direct-to-video movie, and yet I've seen like all the major reviewers reviewing this. This is very much an event film, even being direct-to-video because it's based on such a well-known Batman comic, a comic or graphic novel that I have not read. So I'm coming at this title with kind of a different perspective than a lot of other critics. A lot of other critics are comparing it to the graphic novel, which is by all accounts a masterpiece, a classic, but I've not read it thus far. If you haven't either, The Long Halloween is about Batman, a young Batman. He's still learning the ropes, he didn't realize there was going to be so much detective work. And everybody tells Batman this. Like, everybody tells Batman, hey, you're not so great at this detective thing yet. And poor Batman's, he's kind of like, well, yeah, I didn't know I'd have to be. Apparently, he thought all he'd have to do is just dress up as a bat and scare people and beat people up. But no dice. He actually has to be a detective. Which is cool because one common complaint we hear about Batman movies is they don't show Batman as a detective. Well, this one does, only he's not so great at it yet. He, Harvey Dent, and Commissioner Gordon are trying to figure out who is the holiday killer. A killer who strikes every holiday, leaves a holiday-related clue, and they're trying to figure out who is the holiday killer. Catwoman is also involved. She's not really a good person or a bad person here. She kind of helps Batman when needed. I will say one of the best things about this is a chase scene between Batman and Catwoman. Something from what I understand was added to the graphic or to this adaptation. It wasn't in the graphic novel, but this scene, some of the animation is spectacular in this chase scene. I mean, there's a shot where he leaps to get Catwoman or to follow Catwoman. And the animation is like, whoa, you don't see that type of animation in every direct-to-video film. Speaking of which, the animation here is very good. Now, a lot of it is digital, but it's done to look traditional. It's not quite as expressive as just good old-fashioned traditional animation. Another thing that I can't explain is that there are shots where the lines get huge. And it doesn't seem like a stylistic choice. It seems like a mistake, like maybe they zoomed in on something. There's one shot in particular, which I'll put a screen grab here, but it's like the lines on the face, very, noticeable, but okay. But then the lines on the hands just get huge. And sometimes the face as well. But overall, the animation is pretty good. I mean, it's far more refined than direct-to-video animation used to look. The voice acting, for the most part, stellar. I mean, stellar. Jensen Ackles, who he played the Red Hood back in Batman Under the Red Hood, he takes over the role of Batman here. Sounds a lot like Kevin Conroy, a little bit younger, still fantastic. Troy Baker takes over for Joker. Again, he's always the stand-in when Mark Hamill, for whatever reason, doesn't do the role. It's like, okay, well, it's called Troy Baker. Here, he does fantastic. If they ever do Batman the Animated Series, do a revival of that show, I really feel like I wouldn't be surprised if they try to get Jensen Ackles and Troy Baker for these roles. Naya Rivera takes a little bit of getting used to as Catwoman, but it's only because I'm not quite used to hearing such a young Selina Kyle / Catwoman. But once you again remember, oh yeah, Batman, he's young, he's starting out here, you guys, okay, well that fits. But she does a great job. It's just, again, I'm not used to hearing such kind of a young sounding voice with this character. Then I realized, oh yeah, of course, this is early on in Batman's career, so it does fit. Even Alfred here kind of sounds like the Alfred from the animated series. As for the plot, it's solid. Of course, for me, throughout the whole thing, I keep thinking, okay, it's just part one. And for some reason, that kept me from being fully invested in the story. Now, other people, that won't be the case. And I can't explain why I even felt like that, because I didn't feel like that during Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring. So why for this particular film? Maybe it's because it's a direct-to-video film and I went in, I'll be honest, kind of skeptical, thinking, well, we're only getting half a story. But to the film's credit, for the most part, it feels like a whole story. I mean, yeah, there's a cliffhanger. Yeah, you want to see part two. Yeah, it's not a complete story, but it's more of a whole story than I thought there would be. I thought it was literally going to just cut right in half. Like, we weren't even maybe going to get like some sort of climax to this movie. It was just going to cut in half, and then if you want to see any more, you got to watch the next film. But the film feels complete enough. Does that justify this being two movies? Well, look, nobody, not Warner Brothers, not even one of the indie studios, they're going to release a 3-hour animated film. I mean, it should happen, but it just doesn't. So if this is the way we get to see this 3-hour story take place, fine, whatever. I'll take it in 2 parts. Is that right? Well, I mean, I don't know if it's right or wrong, but it is what it is. I'll fine, whatever, you know. Hopefully they'll release a deluxe version like they did with The Dark Knight Returns that has just the movie as a whole, that, you know, you can at some point buy the entire film as one film. I will say though, one thing that is a little bit distracting, especially early in the movie, is it's refreshing the movie allows itself to breathe. So many of these direct-to-video sequels, they feel like it's just, you know, you got to keep it moving, got to keep it moving. There's no time for an emotional scene or anything of real substance. Even some of the better DC animated films, it's like you just got to keep it moving, you know, so they don't take a moment to breathe. This one does, but sometimes I feel like the breaths are a little too long. I mean, there's one very early in the movie, there's even one part where it's just, I appreciate a good dramatic pause. Okay, but in animation, especially when there's such limited movement, there's a part where there are 2 characters talking. One's like, and I can't remember the exact dialogue, but it's something like, "Is so and so coming today?" "Yes." "Good." I mean, it's like that long. That long between these pauses. So again, I don't know why. I don't know if when they started making the movie, if they were like, you know, they didn't know how much they would have to stretch things out, because it's really only early in the movie when that kind of dialogue or interaction happens. Another thing, I'm kind of surprised how Gordon is portrayed in this. I know the Harley Quinn TV show portrays Gordon as kind of an idiot. I guess just going by the Batman movies, especially the Dark Knight trilogy, in the animated series, Gordon has been a very likable, very he's a character that you can respect, a very respectable character. But in the Harley Quinn TV series, they really portray him as kind of a bumbling idiot. In this movie, it doesn't go that far, but it does kind of portray him as a guy who puts his job above his family, and kind of a guy who isn't all there sometimes. Like, at one point, when they're talking about the first kill, no spoilers, but when they're talking about the first kill, where the holiday killer left a pumpkin, a rotting pumpkin that had a candle inside, you know, and the eyes cut out in the mouth, and they had a candle inside, a Halloween pumpkin. So Gordon is showing a picture of this to Batman and Harvey Dent. And Batman he says, "Where's the pumpkin at?" And Gordon's like, "You think that's important? Wouldn't that be the main thing? Like, you see someone dead, there's a rotting pumpkin beside it. Wouldn't that be kind of like, maybe that's a clue?" Apparently Gordon just walked in there, so they need to clean up in here, and threw it in the trash or something. But I'm just saying Gordon is slightly different. If you read the comics, apparently you're just going to be like, well, yeah, that's how he is in a lot of the comics. You know, I'm just not quite used to Gordon being less polished. But then again, so is Batman, so if it fits, it works. I am eager to see where this goes. I am more than ready to see part 2. It will be here, I think, in July, the end of July. Let me know what you think of this movie, Batman: The Long Halloween Part 1. What were your thoughts? Did you like it? How was it compared to the graphic novel? Please let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe. Follow my channel on Twitter. Until next time, this has been Josh. Thanks so much for watching.